Amigos, estamos aquí con Johannes Eckerström, líder de Avatar, que van a regresar a México por primera vez como headliners. Johannes, how do you feel you will be back here in Mexico as your first time as headliners in a tour?
I feel great about it. And I can tell you like this, that usually when you go to play somewhere, a headline show for the first time, you're supposed to play for maybe 20 people if you're lucky. This is bigger than that. With some shows already being sold out and overall things doing amazing, this tour is already a huge success, and we are haven't it's still more than a week left until I get on the plane. So no, it's amazing. It's very grateful. Um, I knew it was yes and no. Exactly how great it was going to be. Of course, you cannot predict that, but we had a very good feeling about it because when every band announces something or posts something online, there's always the comments of, "Hey, come here, come there." For the longest time, Mexico has been the one place where we heard that the most from. And with that, uh, so then it just took forever for the grown-ups to book us. We've been nagging and saying that we've been wanting to go for the longest time. So it is. So we always knew that there was a bit of a grassroots movement that people wanted us to come. So that was going to be something good. We had a good feeling about it. That was going to be this great. Now, of course, you cannot predict that, but we did have a good feeling about it.
You were been here in Mexico a couple times in festivals
Mhm.
previously. Domination, I think, was the first time you were here. I can remember
Yeah.
correctly. And then you came to Heaven a couple years ago. How was your experience in Mexico those couple times?
Well, with those two particular times, it was just the show, the catering, the hotel, and the airport. All of that was amazing. The shows were amazing. Now, I have also been to Mexico in my own time. I went with my wife a couple of years ago. She had a conference, and I got to go with her. So I got to spend a week in Mexico City. And, sometimes you just vibe with a place. Uh, you come to a country, you come somewhere, and you just like it right away. And I must say, I mean, Mexico is big there, and I look forward to see more. But as far as Mexico City goes, I really liked it. It felt right for me. So, uh, the people, the sights, the sounds, the feel. Uh, no, it was a very special trip to me. So I'm extra biased for that reason, as well. And but as the shows goes, Mexican people are very generous with energy they put out and give you when you're on stage. So they make your job kind of easy. And when your job gets kind of easy when you're on stage, you end up working even harder. The only thing is I have to get used to the elevation. But it's gonna be fine.
Well, last year you released your latest album, Dance Devil Dance.
Mhm.
Your first, I think, after leaving your labels, Intermedia, E1, and
Mm.
you're working now with Black Waltz. I think it's your own label and these 30 Tigers. What are the advantages of releasing your own music independently?
Well, there are a lot of things. One is the control. Just that because through the years you get to know people here and there, and you get to know who you want to work with and not work with when it comes to PR or everything that goes around it. So that level of control suits us. And then it's a simple fact that because we have done this for a while, that we were able to afford doing it by ourselves, because honestly, we couldn't have done this in the beginning. It took some years, but because we could afford doing it by ourselves, that also means that now we own it all, and we don't have to give some asshole 80% that didn't deserve it. Some people that we worked with in the past have deserved it more than others, so I'm not throwing anyone in particular under the bus, but now it's just it belongs to us. So financially, as we were able to take that risk, financially it paid off. But more importantly, I guess we just like being in charge of how we do things and what and where and why. Because we had some, when we had some weirder ideas to try to explain that to a record label why it's a good idea. Now we don't have to explain anything to anyone. And that's probably the biggest thing.
With Devil's Dance, with Devil Dance, you took several risks also in your sound, and some people didn't agree about us. What do you think of the results of this kind of experimentation in your sound on this particular album?
Well, I think we are experimenting as much as we always do because we always want to change. Every album is based on wherever we were at that given time. So we will never, whatever we did in the past. I mean, okay, Avatar will always be a metal band, but beyond that, we kind of never really worry about what we have already done. We're going for the next great thing. So, and I think our fans are used to this. They're used to that Avatar country can happen and then hunter gatherer can happen immediately after that and so on. And I mean, as far as reception, I do believe that this is our best received album so far, in terms of how that more people liked it than disliked it. But you can't anyway please everyone, so that I can't worry about that. As a matter of fact, I always prepare myself for even worse results. Every time an album is done, I listen to it one last time for myself and ask myself, okay, if everyone hates it, is that okay? Well, yes, because I like it, and everyone else can just forget about this and go and listen to something else, but we have to live with this. So I answer that question every time. So I'm always ready for way worse reception, but instead, this is the biggest thing we have ever made. So, I think it went pretty well.
Okay, and you make this duet with Elsie Hale from Hailstorm and Violence No Matter What. But in the future, who would you like to collaborate with? What will be your dream?
I wouldn't say no to working with Rob Halford. That's for sure. At the same time, it's always depends on the song. The cool thing with Violence No Matter What is that we first did the song and it turned into a duet because that was a great idea for it. And then we started to think, oh, who can we work with? So we weren't really making a duet or a feature just because. We did it because the song needed it. And I think that's the right approach. So as many people as I would like to work with, at the same time, I don't decide that. No one in the band decides that. The songs decide who we will work with if getting the chance. But that being said, Rob Halford would be a great example of something that would be an absolute dream to do.
That could be awesome. And well, Avatar is a band that uses theatricality a lot as a part of your proposal. How important is this part, this aesthetic part, within the band's artistic ensemble?
Very important. And I think, because we have been the same band for so long now. So, and in the beginning, you're taught that, oh, you have to have an image. What's your image? And we could never figure out our image. It wasn't until we started to treat what could be called image as art, as part of the artistic expression, then it clicked for us. Then it started to make sense for us in a completely different way. So, and it is also simply what we like. I think the whole aspect of what we do that is show business, I think that it's an art form in its own right. And I am interested always in how to visualize sound. Like, because it's important, but it starts with the music, it finishes with the music. But there in the middle, there's all these things that are connected to the music that I find just as exciting to work with once you have the songs.
Well, Avatar is a band that is already more than 2 decades old, but the last few years have represented for you an impressive growth in your level of fame. What did you think was the turning point for Avatar to have the recognition that currently has?
I think there are many turning points along the way. It was a huge turning point when we finally get to go to the US for the first time, because there we we had already gotten a lot of experience and made mistakes in Europe, done good things, done bad things, done everything. So once we got to the US for the first time, we were kind of ready to make sure we made a very good first impression, and we did. So we started to build the US properly way before we got to do it in Europe. And then Europe, a big turning point would be we were kind of lucky. We got to open for Avenged Sevenfold on a European tour, and that started attraction. We are in that traction and on that road still to this day in many ways. I feel that so many good things started back then, but then also this there's never one thing with a band. It always comes, at least for a metal band, it comes in these little baby steps. And also just last summer, we had the best festival month of our careers in Europe, where every single show felt like, wow, now this made a difference. Things are different now. So those were like, I don't know how many shows we did, but let's say 15 turning points in 1 month. So there are so many things to point at, and they build on each other.
Talking about this new level of fame of Avatar, the great rock dinosaurs, the great headliners bands like Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Metallica, Iron Maiden, all that are slowly fading away and retiring. And sometimes it's difficult to see who could take their places. But in my
Mhm.
opinion, Avatar is one of these great candidates, along others
Well,
like
thank you.
Ghost, Amon Mart, Bad
Mhm.
Omens. Do you see Avatar in that place?
Yeah, of course, but I have to. I'm in the band, so I have to see it like that. Um, I'm very proud and confident in what we're doing. And I do think that we are being different enough that it has a point to exist. Uh, so in that sense, yes, absolutely. But then it's not fully in our hands. There's when to reach those levels, it's a combination of so many things where you are in control of a good part of it, but then there's that part, just the zeitgeist, the whatever's going on at the time overall, and how receptive people are of it for because of whatever is cool and not cool at the time. To really, Metallica is something completely different because they were as big as a pop band, as a pop stars were, on a way that no metal other, not even Iron Maiden or Judas Priest or any one of those has been close to. So they're just so that is just a perfect storm for that to happen. But I think, I mean, once the vacuum exists, surely, like you say, some people will step up and fill that if they're good. And I would add Gojira to the list you had there, for instance, of some of people who belong there. But we'll see, we will do our thing. And I believe we do our thing pretty well. So it's bound to go somewhere as long as we care enough to try to do it well. And we care a lot.
That's awesome. And well, I know you just released your last album last year, but
Mm.
uh, it's pretty soon to think about new Avatar music.
Oh, no, not at all. We've been writing since last year. We are always writing. So, I mean, the ambition is to, in less than a year, we hope to be in a studio with recording new great songs. So it's always ongoing. Because remember when we put out an album, it's already old to us in a way. So then it's at some point it's time to move on and start looking forward. So, and that lives together with the touring and everything else. So all of that is kind of happening all at once. But no, it's not too soon. But the exact details of it, how it's going to release and stuff. Well, so I can tell you that second half of 2025, we sure can imagine that an Avatar album could and should come out. Then we'll see if we live up to that. But we intend to. Hey, this is Johannes from Avatar, the band Avatar. Yeah, and we were before all those other things. This is Summa Inferno, and I'm here to tell you that I look forward to meet all of you as we finally go on a Latin American headline tour. And you need to be there because I will.